2020, the year many people were looking forward to, the year most people said, this is the year. Well, that didn't happen. This year started out with the death of Kobe Bryant, and now the entire world is in lockdown because of COVID-19. This quarantine has affected many people's daily lives at home and at work, much like Martin Nodebart. What is your job title at Quest and what do you do?
I am the Lean Supply Supervisor for Roanoke, Virginia, Carilion Hospitals, and West Tennessee Healthcare. And I supervise 12 employees running the materials group in the hospital labs.
All right. How has your job been affected by quarantine?
It has restricted my travel from Roanoke, Virginia to West Tennessee. And the travel restrictions are starting to be lifted, so I will be traveling soon.
How has this affected your family dynamic?
Well, I've been home and haven't been traveling for the last month, so I'm definitely home a lot more, but I am still going into work, so that really hasn't changed too much.
What are some work positives from this quarantine?
Being able to stay home and not travel so much. Traveling takes up a lot of the time that I could be working.
All right, and what are some work negatives from this quarantine?
Negatives would be not being able to be face-to-face with my employees in West Tennessee and having to work remotely.
This quarantine also affected hospital visits for minor procedures, much like John McNair's procedure. What is different in the hospitals now because of COVID-19?
People are scared to go into the hospital when they need to because they think they might get the COVID, get that virus, and so I would think that it's just still probably a scare. They're a little bit scared.
Did the doctors and nurses seem more careful than before?
Yeah, I would say so. They have to take care of themselves if they're going to take care of us.
When you were in the hospital for your procedure, did they wear more face masks? Did they clean more often?
Yeah, everybody wore face masks, and every time they walked by a hand sanitizer, they would grab some sanitizer and wipe their hands all up.
And how has quarantine affected your daily life?
How's what?
Quarantine affected your daily life?
I'm retired. Not much change. I miss going to my favorite store and seeing my grandkids a lot.
Another group of people that are affected are the working college students, much like GameStop employee Nate Nodebart. How has quarantine affected your schooling?
Really big adjustment when it comes to distance learning, especially at the college level. Can't say that it was super fun. The work stayed the same, but really depends on the kind of learner you are. I'm more of a hands-on learner, so having that kind of taken away from me, you need to adapt.
Will this quarantine affect your plans for graduation next year?
Yes. A lot of the classes that I planned on taking in the summer now cannot be offered, and I have to now push them back to the fall or even the spring.
What are some positives for schooling now?
Oh, the exams were easy. That's a lot of the professors kind of gave us softballs when it comes to that because they knew that, nobody saw this coming. For the future, I now know what classes I can take online and which ones I can't.
What are some negatives?
Definitely the labs. A lot of engineering labs do require hands-on work, and if you can't really do that, not only do you not really feel confident in your ability to do the things that you need to do when you're out in the workforce, but you also just feel uncomfortable. You don't feel as confident as you would had you been actually working on the things in front of you.
Right.
How has this quarantine affected your work life?
It's been not fun. A lot of curbside pickup deliveries. A lot of angry people. Well, not all of them, but a lot.
So what are some things you have to do now that you didn't have to do before?
Gloves. Wear gloves. Wear masks. We cannot take cash. Only debit cards, credit cards, or gift cards. We have face shields that don't help because the machine for putting the cards right here and the things right here. So
This quarantine has affected many people's life, whether in a good way or a bad way, and everyone responds in a different way. Some having to change the way they work, some having to go into procedures differently, and some having to change their entire course of work.